Now let's get specific about the armor requirements for different game formats. Because not all poker is created equal, and your bankroll needs change dramatically based on what you're playing. This is where most players make catastrophic mistakes. They apply cash game bankroll rules to tournaments or tournament rules to cash games, and wonder why they keep going broke. For no-limit hold'em cash games, the professional standard is 30 to 50 buy-ins minimum. That's not maximum. That's minimum. If you're playing 25 no-limit, where the buy-in is $25, you need $750 to $1,250 in your bankroll. Not suggestions, requirements. Why? Because cash game variance, while lower than tournaments, still creates significant swings. A study tracking professional cash game players over 10,000 hours found that even winners experience 100 buy-in downswings multiple times per year. Think about what that means. A professional player with an edge, playing optimal strategy, can lose 100 buy-ins. 100. If you're playing with only 20 buy-ins, a normal downswing bankrupts you. You're not unlucky. You're underfunded. Daniel Negreanu emphasizes this constantly in his masterclass. Cash games require deep bankrolls because you need to be able to weather the storms. The players who survive are the ones who can't be forced out by variance. For multi-table tournaments, the requirements explode. Minimum 100 buy-ins. Why so much higher? Because tournament variance is astronomical. In most MTTs, only the top 10 to 15% of the field cashes. You can play perfectly and bust with no money 90% of the time. Over and over and over. Research on professional MTT players shows that even the best players in the world have losing months regularly. Not because they play badly, because tournament variance is savage. If you're playing $20 tournaments, you need a $2,000 bankroll minimum. Most players laugh at this. That's ridiculous. I can't wait to build $2,000 before playing $20 tournaments. Exactly. That's the point. If you can't afford the proper bankroll, you can't afford the game. This isn't gatekeeping. This is mathematics. Play with insufficient bankroll and you will go broke. Not maybe. Will. For sit-and-goes, the requirement is similar to cash games, 50 to 100 buy-ins depending on variance. Single-table SNGs have moderate variance. Multi-table SNGs have higher variance. Turbo and hyper-turbo structures have extreme variance and require the high end of that range. You need to understand that faster structures mean higher variance because luck plays a bigger role when blinds escalate quickly. Now let's talk about the armor upgrade system. How do you know when you're ready to move up in stakes? This is where discipline either makes or breaks your career. The rule is simple. You can move up when you have the minimum required bankroll for the next level. Not when you're close, not when you're feeling confident. When you actually have the proper bankroll. But here's the sophisticated part that separates good bankroll management from elite bankroll management. The shot-taking protocol. Once you have 150% of the minimum bankroll for the next level, you can take controlled shots. Here's how it works. Set a specific stop-loss for your shot. Maybe it's 5 buy-ins at the new level. You play, and if you lose those 5 buy-ins, you immediately drop back down. No exceptions. No one more session to turn it around. This shot-taking approach lets you test higher stakes without risking your entire bankroll. If you win, great. You might be ready to stay. If you lose, you drop down with most of your bankroll intact and rebuild. Ferguson used this approach constantly during his challenge. He'd reach the threshold for a new level, take a shot, and if it didn't work, he'd drop back down without ego. Now let's discuss the tracking system that makes bankroll management possible. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Professional players track everything: game type, stakes, duration, win or loss, mental state, table conditions. This isn't obsessive. This is professional. You need data to make informed decisions about your bankroll. Use poker tracking software for online play. Poker Tracker, Hold'em Manager, these tools automatically track your results and calculate your win rate, standard deviation, and expected bankroll requirements. For live play, use a spreadsheet or a dedicated poker app. The format doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. Track every single session, no exceptions. This data tells you critical information. First, your actual win rate, not what you think it is, what it actually is. Most players overestimate their win rate by 3 to 5 times. They remember the good sessions and forget the bad ones. Data doesn't lie. Second, your variance. How big are your swings? This determines your actual bankroll requirements. If you're experiencing larger swings than average, you need a larger bankroll than the minimums. Third, your hourly rate. This is especially critical for cash game players. You need to know how much money you're making per hour at each stake level. This helps you make economic decisions about where to play. Sometimes the answer is counterintuitive. Maybe you win more per hour at 50 no limit than 100 no limit because the games are softer and your win rate is higher. Data reveals these opportunities. Now, let's talk about the recovery protocol. What do you do when you're on a downswing and your bankroll drops below the minimum for your current stakes? You drop down immediately. Not tomorrow, not after this session, immediately. This is the rule that ego destroys. Players tell themselves, I just need one good session to get back. No, that's gambler thinking. Professional thinking is, my bankroll no longer supports this stake level. I must drop down to rebuild properly. Ferguson demonstrated this perfectly. When his bankroll dropped, he moved down without hesitation. He played 2-4 no limit, a game far below his skill level because his bankroll demanded it. He didn't view it as failure. He viewed it as proper capital management, and because he followed the rules, he was able to rebuild and eventually reach his goal. The psychology of dropping down is challenging, but reframing helps. You're not dropping down because you're bad. You're dropping down because you're professional. Amateur players refuse to drop down and go broke. Professional players drop down and survive to rebuild. Which do you want to be? Now let's discuss bankroll building strategies. How do you actually grow your bankroll systematically? The first strategy is the grind and grow approach. You play at stakes where you have proper bankroll coverage, win consistently, and only move up when you've hit the threshold. This is slow, but safe. It's how most professionals built their bankrolls. It requires patience and discipline, but it works. The second strategy is the challenge approach, pioneered by Ferguson. Start as small as possible and follow ultra-strict rules. This approach works for players who want to prove they can build from nothing. It's extremely difficult and requires exceptional discipline, but it's doable. Hundreds of players have successfully completed Ferguson-style challenges. The key is never violating the rules, even when it feels unnecessarily conservative. The third strategy is the hybrid approach. Use bonuses, promotions, and rakeback to supplement your bankroll growth. Many poker sites offer deposit bonuses that can boost your bankroll significantly. These aren't free money exactly, but they reduce your effective costs to play. Professional players maximize these opportunities because every dollar of bonus money is a dollar that can be added to bankroll without risk. Finally, let's talk about the withdrawal strategy. When and how should you take money out of your poker bankroll? This depends on whether you're a recreational player or a professional. Recreational players who have other income sources can withdraw winnings regularly. Maybe you take out 20% of your profit each month. This lets you enjoy your winnings while maintaining a healthy bankroll. Professional players need a different approach. You need to live off your bankroll, but you also need to maintain sufficient capital to weather variance. The standard approach is to maintain your minimum bankroll and withdraw only amounts above that threshold. If you're a cash game pro playing 5-10 no limit and you need 15,000 as your minimum, you keep that 15,000 locked in your bankroll and only withdraw amounts above it. But here's critical. Separate your poker business bankroll from your personal financial reserves. Don't use your entire net worth as your poker bankroll. That's financial suicide if a major downswing hits. Keep at least 6 months of living expenses in a completely separate account that never touches poker. This emergency fund protects you from being forced to withdraw from your poker bankroll during a downswing, which would force you to drop in stakes at the worst possible time.
So how do you actually implement bulletproof bankroll armor starting today? Let me give you the exact system that transforms bankroll management from theory into practice. This is where knowledge becomes results. Step 1. Calculate your current situation honestly. Open your poker account. Check every site you play on. Add up the total. That's your current bankroll. Not what you could deposit. Not what you might win tomorrow. What you have right now. Write it down. Now calculate what stakes that bankroll actually supports. Cash games, divide by 50. That's your maximum buy-in. Tournaments, divide by 100. That's your maximum tournament entry. Be brutally honest. If the numbers say you should be playing lower than you currently are, you're playing above your bankroll, full stop. Step 2. Implement the emergency downgrade. If your current stakes are above what your bankroll supports, you must drop down immediately. This is non-negotiable. Your ego will hate this. Your brain will generate every excuse possible. But I'm a winning player at this level. But these games are so soft right now. But I'm due for a heater. None of that matters. You're playing with insufficient armor. Drop down now or go broke later. Those are your options. Step 3. Create your bankroll rules document. Write out your specific rules and stick them where you can see them every session. Here S, a template. I will never buy into a cash game or SNG with more than X% of my bankroll. I will never buy into an MTT with more than X% of my bankroll. If my stack at a cash table exceeds X% of my bankroll, I will leave immediately. I will track every session. I will review my results weekly. I will drop down when my bankroll demands it. Sign it, date it, make it a contract with yourself. Step 4. Set up your tracking system. If you play online, install tracking software today. Not eventually today. For live play, create a spreadsheet with these columns: date, game type, buy-in, duration, result, notes. After every single session, record the data. Make this as automatic as brushing your teeth. Professional players do this without thinking. You need to build the same habit. Step 5. Schedule weekly reviews. Every Sunday or Monday, review your week's data. Calculate your total winnings or losses. Check if your bankroll has grown or shrunk. Determine if you need to move up, stay at your current level, or drop down. This weekly check-in prevents you from playing above your bankroll without realizing it. Variance can drain your bankroll gradually, and if you're not checking regularly, you might not notice until you're in trouble. Now let's talk about the psychological warfare your brain will wage against these rules. Your ego will attack from multiple angles. First attack: these rules are too conservative. I'm better than average. I don't need such a big cushion. This is ego talking, not data. Unless you have tracked thousands of hours proving you in the top 5% of players with lower variance than average, you need the standard bankroll. Even then, why take unnecessary risk? The rules exist to protect you from the unknown unknowns. Second attack: I'll just deposit more if I go broke. This is bankroll management suicide. If you're treating your bankroll as unlimited because you can always reload, you're not managing a bankroll. You're gambling with your paycheck. Professional players never think this way. They protect every dollar like it's their last because eventually it might be. Third attack: but this game is too good to pass up. The classic trap. You see a fantastic game running, whales everywhere, money flying around, but it's above your bankroll. Your brain screams just this once. No, never. The softest game in the world is still a bad decision if it's above your bankroll. Why? Because variance doesn't care how soft the game is. You can still lose. And if that loss cripples your bankroll, you've made a catastrophic mistake that might take months to recover from. Fourth attack: moving down is embarrassing. This is pure ego. Nobody cares what stakes you play except you. And the players who do care aren't people whose opinions matter. Professional players move up and down constantly based on bankroll. It's not embarrassing, it's professional. If you can't handle the psychological discomfort of playing smaller stakes temporarily, you're not cut out for professional poker. Now let's discuss bankroll management for different player types. If you're a recreational player with a job and other income, your approach can be more relaxed but still structured. Decide how much entertainment money you're willing to allocate to poker monthly. That becomes your bankroll. Play stakes that fit within proper percentages of that amount. If you lose the entire amount, you stop playing for the month. If you win, you can either roll the winnings into next month's bankroll or withdraw and enjoy them. If you're a semi-professional, playing part-time but treating it seriously, you need stricter rules. Your poker bankroll should be separate from personal finances. Follow the 50 buy-in rule for cash games, 100 for tournaments. Track everything. Review weekly. Treat it like a business even though it's not your full-time job yet. This discipline is what allows the transition from semi-pro to full professional.
If you're a professional or aspiring to be, your bankroll management must be absolutely ironclad. Your bankroll is your business capital. Losing it means you're unemployed. You need maximum buy-ins for your format. You need 6 months of living expenses separate from poker bankroll. You need detailed tracking and analysis. You need to know your hourly rate, win rate, and standard deviation for every stake and format you play. This level of rigor isn't optional, it's survival. Now let's talk about bankroll insurance, the strategies that add additional protection layers. First is game selection. Always choose the softest games available within your stake level. Your bankroll grows faster in soft games, and you need fewer buy-ins to be properly rolled for a soft game versus a tough game. Don't play tough games just for the challenge. Play soft games to build your bankroll. Save the tough games for when you're overrolled and can afford the higher variance. Second is format diversification. Don't put your entire bankroll into one format. If you play both cash games and tournaments, allocate separate portions to each. Maybe 70% for cash games, 30% for tournaments. This prevents a tournament downswing from affecting your cash game bankroll and vice versa. It also gives you options. If one format is running badly, you can focus on the other while your primary format bankroll rebuilds. Third is rakeback and rewards programs. These aren't traditional bankroll management, but they function as bankroll insurance. If you're paying $5,000 in rake annually and getting 25% rakeback, that's $1,250 added to your bankroll without any additional risk. Professional players maximize these programs because it's literally free money for playing anyway. Fourth is skill development. The best bankroll protection is being a better player. Every hour you spend studying, reviewing hands, working with solvers, discussing strategy, that's increasing your edge and reducing the variance you'll face. A player with a 10 big blind per 100 hands win rate needs a smaller bankroll than a player with a 2 big blind per 100 hands win rate because they'll experience smaller swings. Now let's address the most common bankroll management mistakes and how to avoid them. Mistake 1. Playing above your bankroll during a heater. You're running hot, winning session after session. Your bankroll has grown quickly. You're tempted to jump up multiple stake levels because you're feeling it. Don't. Heaters end, usually violently. Stick to the systematic move-up rules. Your bankroll will thank you when the inevitable cooldown happens. Mistake 2. Refusing to drop down during a downswing. You've lost 20% of your bankroll. By the rules, you should drop down. But you convince yourself it's just bad luck and you'll turn it around. This is the beginning of the end. Drop down immediately when the rules say to. No exceptions. Ever. Mistake 3. Co-mingling poker money with personal money. You win a tournament and immediately use the money for a vacation. Or you lose and take money from your savings to rebuild your poker bankroll. Both are catastrophic. Poker money stays poker money. Personal money stays personal money. The only transfers should be systematic withdrawals based on your rules, not impulsive decisions based on wins or losses. Mistake 4. Not tracking results. You play by feel, roughly knowing if you're winning or losing. This is amateur hour. Professionals track everything because you cannot optimize what you do not measure. Install tracking software today. Start your spreadsheet today, not tomorrow, today. Mistake 5. Using bankroll management as an excuse for not studying. I'm playing the right stakes for my bankroll, so I'm doing fine. Bankroll management protects your money, but it doesn't make you a better player. You still need to study, analyze, and improve. Bankroll management keeps you in the game long enough to benefit from your skill development. Here's your action plan for the next 30 days. Week 1. Calculate current bankroll. Adjust stakes if necessary. Set up tracking. Week 2. Implement your written rules. Track every session. Review weekly. Week 3. Continue tracking. Analyze your first 2 weeks of data. Adjust if needed. Week 4. Review the entire month. Calculate your actual win rate and variance. Determine if you're ready to move up or need to adjust your approach. After 30 days of rigorous bankroll management, you'll understand something profound. The game feels completely different when you're properly bankrolled. The stress disappears. You make better decisions because you're not playing scared. You can handle bad beats because your bankroll absorbs them. You move through variance like a ship through waves instead of being capsized by them. This is what separates players who build lasting poker careers from players who flame out after 6 months. Not talent, not luck. Bankroll armor. Chris Ferguson proved it's possible to build something from nothing using just discipline and rules. Daniel Negreanu built a $40 million career partly because he understood bankroll management from day one. Every successful professional player has mastered this foundation. This is Mind of Grinder. If you're ready to stop losing money to poor bankroll management and start building sustainable poker success, our Elite Poker University gives you everything you need. Over 50 advanced video lessons, more than 200 detailed hand examples, dozens of downloadable cheat sheets, including complete bankroll management calculators for every format. 17 hours of proven strategies to win consistently in cash games, tournaments, Zoom, and sit-and-goes. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. Subscribe to this channel right now if you're serious about protecting your money and building lasting results. Drop a comment telling me what stake level you'll be playing after implementing proper bankroll management. Hit that like button if this changed how you think about bankroll armor. Because the future belongs to players who protect their money like professionals, not gamblers. Build your armor, protect your capital, dominate your games.